Hi, this is Mr. Cordes, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the video presentation requirements for the World Poetry Project. You've done a lot for this project already, and now it's time to showcase what you have learned. You are the experts on your poem and your poet and the world region and the culture in which it comes from. So now you are going to communicate all of that through a video presentation. Okay. Just like if we were in the classroom, you would present to a small group or the class itself. And so this fulfills our requirements of speaking. It also fulfills the requirements of reading, because there are portions of this presentation that you will be reading. It also helps us articulate our analytical thoughts and skills that we've developed so far. Okay. So all of this to say, first things first, you need to make sure that you've got a camera with some sort of audio recording. If your computer does not have a camera or audio, then you are able to use your phone and record and then upload. That's an option as well. But all computers, especially if you have a school issued computer, should have a functioning camera with audio. You can just simply go to the computer, pull up the device, the camera itself, and then begin to record. There's also other things that you can do. YouTube is an option. There's also for what I do here for our videos is a Chrome extension called Loom, Loom. If you want to download that to Chrome, that's another thing that you can do as well. Okay. But there's certain things that you are going to present. And all the information that you've already had. Now it's just practicing, doing it properly, saying it out loud for all of us to hear and understand. And we can be exposed to poetry from around the world. That's the real goal. Can we be informed of all of these different types of poems and poetry from all around the world? Okay. So if you look on the instructions, it says each student will create a video presentation with the above information. Use a camera and audio devices. Students will conduct the following tasks. Here's what you're going to do. The first thing is to introduce yourself and the culture, the world region that you have for your project. Hi, my name's Billy. I looked at Irish poetry. My poet is, Sean O'Connery, and you go from there. Right? Whoever you're introducing yourself. That's the first thing that you're going to do. Okay. The second thing is you're going to read through one of your poems. You selected 3 poems, right? And you use those to kind of gather information about the cultural implications as well as the poet. However, you're only going to read one. And the one that you read is going to also be the one that you're going to discuss for your poetry analysis. Okay, so they need to connect. Don't read things that are not connected. Okay, so read aloud one poem. Control over the language is needed. Practice is evident, and poetic elements such as rhythm, beat, tone, etc. are present. So you want to get up there. You want to have your poem. You want to start reading as if you've read it multiple times, okay? If you are unfamiliar about words or phrases, go listen to an audio version of your poem so that you can better understand how it flows, what the rhythm is, how the words are pronounced, so on and so forth, okay? So introduce yourself and your poet and the world region you're discussing. Read one of the poems eloquently, articulate well, do the best you possibly can. Number 2 is where you're going to read your paragraphs that you put together about the poet and the cultural background. Okay, these were assignments that were submitted earlier. So if you need to go back and unsubmit and pull those together so they're on their screen or in front of you on paper, you can do that. You are going to read through those and offer insight. Okay. I would suggest knowing so much about this that you use your paper as a reference guide, not necessarily you're reading it word for word. Okay. So introduce yourself, read your poem aloud with control over the language and the words. The next item that you're going to do is to read your paragraphs about the poet and the cultural background. The third one is where you actually you read what you wrote for your analytical paragraph. Okay. You go through, you read that aloud, you present that to the class. If you're using a software, capturing software like this, you could have it up in the background. That's perfectly fine. But you're going to read your poetry analysis. You're going to tell us what you found interesting, what you found remarkable, what was the poet's message, what was the purpose. You're going to kind of explain all that. What were the literary elements? What's the figurative language that you found? Those are the things that you're going to divulge in the poetry analysis part. Okay. The last one, number 4, are your concluding thoughts and any insight that's being used or found, right? I was really interested in this culture. I love X, Y, and Z components. I think it's remarkable how the poetry does this. You're going to elaborate and offer any last final details, okay? The concluding part is not, I liked it, it was great, click and be done. It's what did you experience? What was the most fascinating thing about this? Intrigue other viewers to go out and seek that poetry. Okay, that's normally what we do. Oh my gosh, I love this movie. Have you guys seen this show on Netflix? Oh my gosh, I read this book. It's fantastic. That spark, that encouragement gets other people involved. And that's what we want to see for that last component where you give your final thoughts. I really love this poetry because it conveys the culture in such a unique fashion. I really like this because it showcases the history and what the people group went through. Okay. So those are the 5 things that you're going to be doing. You introduce yourself and your poet. You're going to be reading your background paragraphs and your cultural paragraphs. Okay. Who is the poet and what do we need to know? You introduce yourself, read the poem, then you go into the background of all of it. Then you have your poetry analysis and you give your concluding thoughts. Okay. I don't think if you read through and you go through, I don't think your videos would be longer than 20 minutes. And 20 minutes would probably be if you take your time and you go through it and you elaborate and you offer detail. Okay. But shoot for somewhere in between like 15 to 20 minutes. That would be good and sufficient to say that you've gone through everything and you are presenting well. All right. If you have questions or concerns, please message me. You'll notice down here, it says the assignment will be submitted on Wednesday, December 16th by 4 p.m. So this is the last thing that you're doing for the class for this semester. And so this is the very last component of the project. Okay, so please make sure that you get your video, that you practice, that you do it well, and that you submit it by Wednesday, December 16th at 4. Okay. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions or concerns, just send me a message. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.